All right, good morning. Excuse me. Good evening. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dowell. I'm sure that you have your own homestead, your own home, your own little castle and stuff, and in that area, you're doing somewhat fine. I'm sure of that. But you cannot help, like myself, to be concerned about the state of the union of today. I mean, I live in Tennessee, okay? And now you have President Donald Trump and senators in tweeter wars. Trump has really come out hard against Senator Bob Corker, and it makes you wonder what is really truly going on in this country. The Republicans are more divided than ever before. Senator Corker said that the White House has become an adult daycare center. It's not looking good. It's just simply not looking good for us. And of course, I go back to ancient history. I digress back to ancient history again. When empires begin to crumble and empires begin to fall, they all start off with war, and they do pretty good. And then they leave from a war mentality, and they end up in an agricultural mentality. And in that, if they drop their guards, other people from other nations in the world is going to seek how to dominate them. Now, China is positioning itself, whether we like it, comprehend it, understand it or not. Financially, they are positioning themselves. We are in a new advent of cryptocurrencies, which a lot of people are making a lot of money, crypto money or money, whatever you want to call it. But there's still the golden rule. He who has the gold rules. And China has not been passively sitting by. They have been positioning themselves for quite some time to be the world's lone superpower. And we have a bunch of in-warring and in-fighting. And then, of course, just now, hot off the press, President Trump is going to use an executive order just to repeal Obamacare. Of course, now that executive order is only as good as long as he's in the presidency or until the next president comes on. If they do nothing about it, stands. But if he don't do anything about it, stands. But if they do anything about it, then they can repeal it and replace it or whatever. But I tell you, listen to these words right here that President Trump said about Bob Corker, and you tell me if I'm missing this. At least this is what's reported at Fox News. You tell me if I'm missing this. What's going on? I mean, he ran on a Republican platform, and we assumed that we had in America a Republican president. And it says that President Trump on Sunday ripped increasingly vocal critic Senator Bob Corker, saying the Tennessee Republican, gutless, dropped his reelection bid after begging for the Trump endorsement he never received. Corker begged me to endorse him, Trump said in a string of tweets. I said no, and he dropped out. He said he could not win without my endorsement. He also wanted to be Secretary of State. I said no, thanks. Hence, I would fully expect Corker to be a negative voice and stand in the way of our great agenda. Don't have the guts to run. Ooh. And then he fires back, saying it's a shame that the White House has become an adult daycare center. Someone obviously missed their shift this morning. Jesus. Now, we're talking about leaders in this world. That's what we're talking about. The most powerful nation on this earth. That's what we're talking about. All right. The older I get, the less tolerance I have for a bunch of foolishness. I guess that comes with age. Because I'm more interested in advancement. I'm more interested in legacy. Legacy meaning, what am I going to leave behind? What am I going to sow into people? Or how can I help improve other people's lives that listen to me? At least that's on my mind, my heart. Because we all know that this world is something else. But given the conditions of this earth, especially with all these alleged natural disasters, all this water falling all over the place, and wars and rumors of wars and volcanoes and earthquakes, and I know I got a lot of digressions, but I'm trying to paint a picture to show you that not only is there naturally something wrong, but spiritually there's legitimately something wrong. So Corker fires back after Donald Trump said that Bob Corker begged me to endorse him for re-election in Tennessee. I said no and dropped out, and he said he could not win. And it goes on and on. And if you want to look at this dog and pony show, I mean, it's up to you. But I think it's a sad state of affairs. I think that egos are running wild in this country, and that the American people, and I've always believed this theory, I'm going to call it a theory. I do have facts, but I'm just going to call it a theory because I see the decline. Now we are trying to wall ourselves in empires to try to keep people out or whatever. I mean, whatever. But we are hurting. And my advice to you is don't be so concerned about these people who have made themselves leaders over us. You get your homestead, your home together. You store food, you store some water. More than anything, you try to build and develop relationships with people who you can trust. Don't develop relationships with people who refuse to investigate truth, people who are totally intolerant of other people's perspectives and point of views, and they close up their ears and they always depend on somebody else. The truth is, there's a lot of people out there that you wouldn't be too much of anything if it wasn't for somebody else supplying your lifestyle for you. And that's got to change. That's got to change. You have to bring something to the table in this life, be you in a subordinate role or in a role of leadership. But we have to come together as a people because our country is divided. We are divided as a people. We have racism running rampant. We got a lot of problems. And it's easy to just stick your head in the sand or stick your fingers in your ears and just leave everything alone. But if you do that, you don't prepare yourself. You don't prepare yourself for what I see coming down the pike and what's happening. We're bad. We're bad off as a country. And even at that, being bad off as a country, let me say this. I've lived in other countries in this world. I still say that America is the best place. I totally disagree with the homosexual agenda. I think it's an abomination. I think it's something wrong up here. It used to be defined as a mental illness in the 60s. I don't know who changed that or what changed it. But I'm watching us follow the same exact steps as ancient Rome. And Rome declined, got conquered. My question, and I want to end this video on this. Are you afraid of change? Because being afraid of change and continually trying to stay in the utopia of your own little sphere of what you call a world is going to mess a lot of people up. It really is. And if you've got children coming behind you, we see that the world is going from bad to worse. I don't like it. I really, truly don't. And I realize I have a lot of digressions in this video. We just got finished. We're not finished. We're still in the feast. But I'm deeply concerned. I'm deeply concerned. I'm really concerned at people who don't take action. I mean, it's like in this country, we live, then we wait to get sick, then we wait for the government to take everything that we've amassed over our life, and then they tax it half to death and leave the children with nothing, if there's anything to be left at all. Most people just simply wasn't wise in life because they lived their life selfishly. And more than anything, people just don't want to listen. And I've learned that the people who don't want to listen, they don't have any solutions. Nothing but just arguing. But no solutions. Nothing's getting done. We're in trouble. we're in some deep, deep trouble. I don't call this a ramble video rant. I'm just rambling because it's disturbing to me what I see. I don't know. Maybe everything's fine. Is everything fine? If it is, can you tell me why everything is fine? Because I don't see it.